Do you have a works in progress bin that is just overflowing with half-finished garments? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. And today I've got 4 tips that should hopefully help us all get our sewing projects to that finish line. I'm Jennifer Weiss, founder of Workroom Social and Camp Workroom Social. And in each episode of Dear Jenny, we talk about your sewing related thoughts and questions so that together we can grow both as sewists and as people. Now, before we get into today's letter, I have an exciting announcement. Future episodes of Dear Jenny will be moving to my YouTube channel, which I hope you will find and subscribe to at youtube.com/workroomsocial. It's been super fun connecting with you here on Seamwork, and I hope you'll join me for more sewing advice over on my channel. And now let's see what's in today's letter. Our letter reads, Dear Jenny, sometimes I feel like a total magpie. I'll be working on a really fun sewing project and then I'll scroll through Instagram and one of my favorite pattern companies has just released a new pattern. I get totally distracted with bright and shiny new sewing projects and I'm buying sewing patterns faster than I can sew them. How can I keep my attention on my current sewing plans? Help me stay focused. From a sewing magpie. A sewing magpie, thank you so much for sending in your letter, and I can promise you that you are not alone. In fact, I am often distracted by a new fabric release, a new pattern launch, and I have to remember, and I like to remind myself, that I need to finish my current sewing projects too. I think we can all relate and agree that sometimes it's really hard to finish things we've started. In general, leaving things unfinished can cause us to feel all kinds of negative feelings, from disappointment to guilt to inadequacy and overwhelm. I'm here to remind us all that when it comes to our sewing, it is 100% okay to not finish what you start. The only person who's going to punish you for not finishing your sewing is, well, you. And I hope if you lean in that direction, I hope that you'll join me in working to be gentler and kinder with yourself and to know that sometimes you just want to go work on that new project and that's okay. That said, there's lots to gain, lots that we can benefit from when we do complete our garments. From developing a sense of accomplishment, in the end of a project, hopefully you are left with a garment that you are really excited to wear. So I've got today 4 tips for you that will hopefully help you get your sewing project from start to finish. Number 1, keep notes while you're working on a project. Sometimes I find it so much easier to start on a new project than try to figure out where I left off on my current project. And requiring me to put in that little bit of extra mental energy can really derail my progress. I have found that if I keep active notes on the project that I'm working on now, I am much more likely to see that project to the end. Now, those notes can include things like planning out my construction order, so writing down an actual list of each step that I need to take to complete my garment. It can include keeping track of pattern changes that I've made, and it can involve writing out, like when you're in the middle of a project, writing out where I need to start in my next session. Once I revisit my project in the future, I find in reviewing these notes, I have much more confidence to keep moving my project forward. Tip number 2, set up a gentle accountability system. Accountability systems can help us feel a sense of responsibility, which can help motivate us to complete our projects. Now, I know the word accountability, the word responsibility, they don't necessarily have an association with a big important word that I like to relate to our sewing, and that is fun. So we need to think about how can we create an accountability system, how can we instill a sense of responsibility and have that be fun. So I've got 3 different ideas for you to set up that accountability system. First, why not schedule some sewing time with a friend? And if you don't have any sewing friends, maybe it's time to make some. Online communities can be a great place to make sewing friends. Communities like Seamwork and like my social media network called Social Sewist. In both Seamwork and Social Sewist, you'll find a robust community of other people who also love sewing their own clothes. And in fact, in Social Sewist, once a month, I host a live group sewing session where we all get together on Zoom and sew together. Another accountability system that you could try is to join a sewing challenge, and this can be especially good if you're active on Instagram. There are lots of sewing challenges on Instagram, and to find them, you can try searching hashtag sewing challenge on Instagram or turn to Google and Google sewing challenges to see what you pull up. And last, a classic accountability system for you that hopefully will get your garment finished is to give yourself a deadline. And I would encourage you to plan ahead, give yourself ample time to finish your project. And in addition to setting that deadline, also give yourself a prize or some kind of positive reinforcement to look forward to when you complete your garment at that deadline. Okay, my 3rd tip is to remind yourself about your current sewing project. So maybe you're a little bit like me in that sometimes when I am working on a project and I'm scrolling Instagram, I see a new pattern has come out and I get really excited to just go start on that next new thing. It's really just because I kind of forgot about this other thing over here that I was working on. And this happens especially when I'm working on maybe a bigger project, a more long-term project, and perhaps I have not had time to actively work on that for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So because my project is not at the top of my mind, I just kind of forget about it. And then when I see something new and exciting, I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. But it's not because I have necessarily lost interest in this other thing. I've just kind of forgotten about it. So how can we actively remember the projects that we're working on? Well, if we have the space, it can be really nice to leave your projects out so that we can see what we're working on a day-to-day basis. Maybe we can't get to things right now, but we just have a reminder that this is a project that is actively ongoing. And who knows, maybe because your project is out, you will feel so compelled to sew a dart here or cut a pattern piece there. In fact, behind me back here, I have a project that I'm actively working on. It's a pair of jeans, and I've had this on my cutting table for about a week now. So in the evening, I see it back there and I will just swing by and cut another pattern piece out. And eventually I will get to the finish line with this one because it's just going to sit out on my table until I'm done with it. Another thing that you could try is to add your current project to your calendar. I like to do this. I'll just put in my calendar, current project, Seamwork Danielle Top, and I'll just repeat it every day so that I can actively see what I'm working on. Or a classic analog method, use those sticky notes. Sometimes I'll just put a sticky note right up on my computer screen, something that I look at every day, and it'll say current project, Seamwork Danielle Top, and I know that that is, in fact, the sewing project that I need to finish before I can start something new. Okay, and my last tip, number 4, is to make more than you consume. So I think we all know this. The more time we spend consuming media, scrolling Instagram, watching those YouTube tutorials, the less time we actually have for working on our sewing. So sometimes I find it really helpful to set screen time limits on those certain time-sucking apps that I just mindlessly grab my phone and scroll through. Or you could try a system where maybe when you get home after work, you take your phone and you put it in a basket away so that you aren't distracted by your phone, which means then you won't be distracted by the new shiny releases that are always advertised on social media. And hopefully, using these 4 tips, you'll be able to stay focused on your current sewing project and get that project to the finish line. Sewists, now I want to hear from you. How do you stay focused on your current project? Or maybe you have more than one project going on at the same time. Or maybe you have just embraced that works in progress bin and you are not concerned about whether or not you finish things. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know your advice, especially if you have any for a Sewing Magpie. Tell us how you stay focused. If there's something sewing related that you'd love to talk about in a future episode of Dear Jenny, you can send me an email at hello@workroomsocial.com. Now, there are many things in life that are important to finish, and there can be consequences for not completing certain projects. I'm here to remind us all that we choose to sew and we have no obligation to our hobbies. So I invite you to do sewing in a way that works for you. Thank you so much to Seamwork, and I'm super excited to see you in a future episode of Dear Jenny. Bye for now.